Good evening, everyone. Eiffel 65 will be played next week. I have it on the request list right here beside me. So I'll get some Eiffel 65 on there next week, just for you, Andrew. Welcome everyone back to the podcast. Hanging out with you here tonight. So, at full admission, I didn't even know if I was going to be able to go tonight, but I powered through because I do not like to miss two casts in a row. And I missed Friday, well, because there was no one here. And there's that. So this week is tentative for Friday. That's going to be on me. It's a school-related thing. So I might see if guys can go maybe on the weekend. I might try to sneak some folks in on the weekend. But if not, Jace will be back. He is currently in Galaxy's Edge. So happy anniversary to him. Or slash honeymoon. He's past his 1 year anniversary, and it's a honeymoon thing. So I don't know which one they're calling it, but anyway, have a good time. We'll see you when you return, and you'll hang out with me. So he's not fired, but I'm going to talk a little bit about potentially this window up here. Bernard indicated earlier that tonight's topic seemed like a bit of a downer. I was just playing on words, my friend. I'm actually in quite a good mood, which I normally am, but yeah, startup school's going well, doing the whole thing. So that is also what I'm doing. Imagine school startup is busy. It's not the first day for us. Actually, we are in week 2 already. So we're a little ahead of the curve here in Canada, maybe slightly behind our American schools. So that's where we're at. So yeah, no worries. I got the reference to that, Andrew. But yeah, Andrew's referencing the title for tonight. So let me pop that up. Star Wars Legion has me feeling blue. Might I suggest maybe even downright demoralized? That is a little play on words because we're going to talk a little bit about swoops and, I mean, potentially a great showing for swoops. In fact, I will call it a great showing for swoops at Nova. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to be talking a little bit about my 2 games. I played 2 games. Yeah, 2 games of Legion that I've played since whenever I talked to you last, episode 138. Subsequently, I also think I was by myself. So starting to think this is a me thing. I'm going to talk about round 6 signups. They're happening right now slowly. People are hopefully going to sign up there, and we'll power through. So they're trickling in. It is the last round of the league, and then we're going to start it all over again very, very soon. So if you haven't got in, or if you want to get in, you can jump into round 6. It's fine, and just get some reps in, and then do it all again when we get to round 1. So AMG October releases, just briefly going to mention. That you can expect, I think, Dinjarin and Grogu. Obviously, we have that as a combo pack, and I believe IGs are supposed to be dropping here in October. So we have that to look forward to. And like I said, I'm going to talk a little bit about the top 4 Nova list. If you want to learn about all 8, Fifth Trooper did a whole big rundown, which was great. Go give that a read. I just grabbed 4 of the list, and we're going to talk a little bit about them, give my own little spin, and then hopefully you guys will give some thoughts on that as well. And yeah, so that's basically how we're going to run down the list tonight. I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss the folks that are in already. So let me rip through that. And B Smith, who was at Nova, maybe he can even come share some thoughts on that if he can stay awake till the end of the show. So there's that. So Tom Walker got in first, much to the chagrin of Bernard, who came in shortly after. There was some conversation around who does and who does not live in YouTube, so I won't get into that, but involved in that was Andrew, Canadian Bear, Stan. We also have B. Smith, like I said, checking in. Justice checking in just in time. He did make it in time. We have Outrider Dan checking in from Las Vegas. Welcome, Outrider Dan. Go give them a listen. If you guys haven't heard, Outriders podcast, go give them a listen. Pally's checking in. I'm home with a busted wing. What's going on there? Have to learn more about that. Hopefully that new job is not that hard on you, because that would be, that would be demoralizing in its own right. We have who else checking in? Canadian Bear checking in, 48th Ronin saying, "Wish he could get in the league, but super busy." It's okay, my friend. You can jump in at another time. It's perfectly fine. Let me get rid of all this stuff. Boom, boom, boom. I'll talk about hiring later. It's not really a hiring, but we'll talk about it. And B Smith says he's not going to stay awake, so he'll tell us about maybe Nova at another time. So when we do that Saturday afternoon podcast. So um, and Pally says his job is quite hard on him, so there's that. But nonetheless, we'll roll into what's going on here. Queen City Minis checking in for sure, for sure. I need to send them an email back. They just reminded me as I see them pop in there, so I hope I did not miss that. I saw your email, and I'm sometimes bad because I answer a lot of emails, both in the day job and in the hobby world. But ping me once more if I do not respond, but I will try to enter that into the memory banks here. So on the topic of that and helping people out, why don't you maybe help us out and check us out and follow us on all the platforms. I've done fairly good at posting to Instagram, but I've been using the Terrain Studio Instagram, and I didn't really realize um, that I wasn't using Friday Night Fight ones. So if you want to, you can follow at Legion_FNF, but you could also go follow at the Terrain Studio if you want to see what I've been talking about. But I'm going to help you out and talk a little bit about what I've been sharing kind of on the Instagrams, the hobby section, and the Patreon here in just a few minutes. You can also check us out on the Twitter. I have been tweeting, but generally just using my own account. I'm pretty poor at the Twitter, but I'll get better. I have been... yeah, I hear you. Emails are a friend and both an enemy. I have been posting some things to the Patreon. I just did another tutorial. I also just posted some updated photos, and I've been working pretty hard on the wall. So I'm powering through that, and I think you guys will be pretty excited. And I'll share some information about some other elements coming on the wall here in a little bit, and maybe even we might even have somebody jump in, surprise guest coming in the roundtable if we can convince them to come in. All the way piped in from the future and talk a little bit about hobby and maybe some other ways that you guys could do some hobby check-ins and hobby hangouts upcoming just on another channel. But I'll kind of highlight and preview that specifically if we get that guest in. And then also on the Facebooks, you can follow us at Star Wars Legion FNF. Yeah, you can follow us on all those things. So hey, still some spots for the perks if you want to get in on these card sleeves. They're just going to sit there until they're gone, but I will do some giveaways on these once I make sure that if anybody's going to jump in on that Patreon level, they're there. I don't have a screen for it, but small update on the tokens. I have got some conversation going with the poker chip company. There's a couple elements on the chips that they think are too small, so I'm going to do a little rework on it, maybe just cleaning up. It's mostly on the logo section, so it's not even relevant to the function of the chips themselves. They're not sure how it will print. They don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So once I make the tweaks, I'm actually going to get some of the sample chips sent to me so that I can show you physically. Like I said, I just didn't want to get any sample chips if they already are indicating that there might be. It's just kind of where the activation's written. It's pretty small in the font and then presents on the top of Friday Night Fights. But I can get rid of that. That's perfectly fine. So I'm just going to clean up a few of those elements and make sort of a slim down logo. And then get those sample chips in hand. They will be on the Patreon, so if you guys want to, join up, follow, all that stuff, you guys can get them there. I know that people have been asking. I've been working on it. Don't worry. I've been working on lots of things, and I'll have you covered, and you guys won't miss a thing. So why don't we just jump over real quickly here? I'll get through the Patreon, a couple sponsors. I'll jump back, talk a little bit about Legion, get into the league stuff, and then get into Nova lists, and then into Swoop Bike conversation, and then into the roundtable. Wow, I planned a lot for myself here. Hopefully I can pull it off. I also have done an hour-long presentation today, so I haven't been nice to myself in my voice here today. But on the Patreon, if you guys haven't been following, or if you haven't followed, that's great. Thank you very much. And if you're not, go check it out. It's probably worth the $5 that it costs you. But you guys can go over there. This is a picture that I showed you before I did some wall elements here. And these are just painted up. And I'll tell you a really quick, easy, simple to follow tutorial. And I did a tutorial, and then I went back and sort of tweaked the end of it. So I'm going to make a short video in terms of I changed one process, and I think the end result was pretty good. I like the first version, but they were a little bit dark, so I went back and did that. So I'm going to show you actually what they look like here in a second. So this is what I worked on last month and this month. And then in this month, I've also been working on a few other elements. So have a look at these. There are the photos of those, and no Instagram filters or anything like that. This is straight off the workbench type photos. So you'll see some elements in the background, but these are just painted up with a series of washes and pigments. No brushes on this, all a bunch of cloths and tamping with some sponges, and it came out looking pretty sharp. I was happy with that. Then I went in and started doing some vents, and so I designed these to be metallic pieces of venting that's sitting low on the wall, gonna have lots of chips, rust, etc. That's a really up close shot of another part that I made, all foam, by the way. So this is all pink insulation foam that I've just added some stuff to. These again, no brushes on any of this. I've done this all with spray bottles, cloths, and foam sponges. And so just getting that stippling effect in there and really adding that corroded element. And there's a little bit of a zoomed out shot of both of those pieces. So just a series of chipping that I applied with the sponges. I've done a series of both acrylic and enamels. So if you guys are sort of scared to mix or even use enamels, I assure you they work quite good. I just done a little bit of thinning with some white spirits, basically paint thinner. And then they apply really, really nicely. And I'm just using kind of like a little hairspray bottle, little travel bottles. You can get a lot of control, and you can kind of get in and get a really cool, I call it a spritz. So a little spritz on your pieces, and you get this sort of smattering, and you don't have to be afraid to layer it up, and you can work rather quickly. So after I do the chipping effect, basically start to finish on this, it's a little bit of modulation and then a little bit of spritz here and there, sponging off just to blend and tap it in a little bit, set it aside, and you're done. So it looks like it takes a while. It looks like there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of layers, but it doesn't take a while. So the secret's out. Zero talent required. Technique is where it's at, and information is ammunition. So once you know how to do it, you can pretty much replicate this on anything, whether it's a piece of foam for a wall studio set, or if it's a model, or even a piece of terrain for that matter. So really, really easy to follow techniques. You guys can go check it out. If anybody's in chat, by the way, who is a patron and has found any value in there, ripping off some reviews on the fly are probably the best advertisement I can give. So okay, let's jump back here real quick. Actually, let's hit a couple sponsors. We want to make sure that we thank our folks here that help us out each and every week. So don't forget Deep Cut Studios. I see a ton of people posting about gaming mats. There's no question. Just go check out Deep Cut Studios. They have all the gaming mats that you're going to need. And I say that with validity as a person who has several and uses them often. I was a customer long before they were a help here to the studio. So I won't steer you wrong with any of that. Also want to thank Legion Terrain for the help here in studio, providing us with the painted elements that we use each and every week on several of our tables. We use a variety of terrain, but you can't go wrong. Go check that out. Graham, by the way, has got a really, really nice Hoth set going, also purchased from legionterrain.com. So if you haven't seen those photos on Discord, check that out. I want to thank Michael. We haven't seen Michael in a while. Man, do you guys miss Michael? Thumbs up in chat if you guys miss Michael. The wizard. I will have to see what Michael's up to here, but nonetheless, he is the creator and has donated his time to making tellmetheodds.net. If you want to know if your dice are average or above average or below average even, you can go check that out. Really easy to use tool, and pretty fun when you're punching in a bunch of dice odds, finding out if you've rolled average or not. So that is what's going on there. Canadian Bear says, you bet. So thumbs up from Tom, who also misses Michael. So yeah, let's get into a little bit of Legion chat, if you will indulge me, and I'll give you some tales of the games that I've played. So I played League. I'm in the League right now, round 5. I'm in a group. I've played all of my games minus one. I still got to play Tyler. I think we're going to set something up for the next weekend, which will be the last one, which is generally how it goes for me. I play early and play late. But I had a game against Debaticus. It was the rubber match, if you will. So game 3, him and I squaring off again. So 5 rounds. We've played each other 3 times. Super, super fun opponent to play. Our games are always tight no matter what. This one was no exception. Perfect. I see you guys are maybe slightly behind on YouTube tonight, so sometimes it has a bit more of a lag, even though I've set it to ultra low. But I appreciate that Stan coming in here saying Mrs. Michael and Patreon Hobbycast are really educational, even though he doesn't immediately have plans to do terrain. Like I said, techniques are where it's at. That's ammunition, file away in the memory banks. I take a lot of photos on my phone. I snap photos of other people's work, inspirational pieces, file those away to access later, even if it's not a technique that you might necessarily have immediate application for. If it's something in the realm that you'd like to try, I highly recommend just filing that sort of away on your phone or jot it down somewhere. All that great stuff. So small tangent there. So back to the game. So the game I played against Debaticus, we were playing on the Fugly Complex, I think it's called. So it was the first time for me in this league round playing on that, but I've played on that map. I think it has some slight tweaks to the version I played before, but more or less it's the same map. So it's a bit unique in the fact that it's got a really tall but not line of sight blocking piece of terrain in the middle, not great for vehicles to cover. It's a little bit of a weird key positions piece. Luckily, we did not play key positions. The last two games, I'll just say, I've had turn zeros have been pretty strange, and not the fact that they've been tough on me, but just had some unique combinations of turn zeros coming up. So in this particular one, we played hemmed in, so he was blue, I was red, and we played bombing run. So what I did is something I've done in the last two games, actually, one practice and one league game, as I actually divulged my my reinforcements card. So he had Luke, R2, a few DLT squads, three RTs, which were a pain, two rotary and one laser. He had a veteran, a Mark II, and an officer, if I remember correctly. And the list I'm playing right now has an AAT, sorry. Has Kalani. It has five heal bots, one naked squad. It has two Magna Guard with Rocket, and I believe that's it. And so it ended up hemmed in battle lines, and I forget what the position, maybe fortified. I think it was fortified. And so I just chose to divulge and hold off my AAT 2 Magna, and then Kalani has reinforcements natively built into the card. So it was great for me to be able to hold everything, and it basically just forced me to put out my 6B1s first, or as my first deployments. So I got those out, and I tried to kind of bait him out a little bit and sort of strong side my PK droids. I made one. I will tell you, Frizzle, in a second. I made one error from the list I've been playing historically in the league. I've had a comms relay on my naked squad, and for whatever reason, I haven't ingrained. In fact, I misplayed the turn one with the comms relay. No harm, no foul. Didn't really have any factor in the game, but I deployed my comms relay unit, and one PK on one side, and I did four PKs on the other. And really, I should have just done two PKs, three PKs on the other side, and done the naked squad. But I made that misplay anyway. So I strong side deployed my PK droids, hoping that he would anticipate that maybe I would go down with my AAT. He wasn't biting there, but he did go Luke a little bit farther to that side, and I think he would admit, we talked about it afterwards, that went maybe a little too strong with Luke. So he went R2 on the other side and two RTs. And as soon as R2 went down, I knew that, despite my efforts to have him strong side on my left, or my right, sorry, I had to go kill R2 because you guys know how my feelings about R2, and I always want to make R2 just scream. So luckily I did. So I went on one side with the AAT, the two Magna, Kalani, and I just had two PKs over there. Sorry, two B1 squads over there. Bombing run, pretty straightforward. I put it on my two Magna Guards and my tank, and he went Luke, and I want to say one RT and a Rebel. And he sort of basically pressed really early. Luke burst of speed, I want to say turn one, to get into my lines. I tried to shift over my PK droids to help a little bit, but basically turns 1 through 6, or turn 1 through 4, I guess. He just blendered basically my entire side. I ended up losing 200 points in the game, which was 4 PK squads. And that is the only points I lost. But that being said, he did have my AAT on 7 wounds, I think on turn 3, and I had 0 heals available. So I pretty much felt like I was going to lose my AAT, so I started shifting pretty hard into the corner with that. He shifted over with Luke, but we got in this weird situation where he was overextended a little bit. Um, and sorry, he got in this sort of no man's land with Luke, and he didn't want to dive Luke too far, because he knew he was going to get pounced by Magnas. He couldn't feed over too much because we were in this back and forth points thing. I was leading in the points race, and he was really trying to kill that the AAT. He made on his own admission, he made an error and tried to shoot the AAT or sorry, tried to shoot the Magnas instead of the AAT to finish it off. And because he didn't do that, I was able to shift the AAT basically out of range for the game. Got the bomb off on the AAT after already having got both Magnas off. He also got 3 bombs off. Um, and then he ended up diving Luke correctly, playing Son of Skywalker, but had to move in and then chose to go to the standby. I ended up not triggering the standby and ate no Son of Skywalker attacks, or the additional attack, I should say. And because of that, no, sorry, I didn't need any because he chose to do the standby first and wanted to get this 2 Son of Skywalker attacks off after. So I ended up triggering no Son of Skywalker attacks. I've sort of moved out my Magnas, killed a few units, dove deep with 1 Magna, kept 1 Magna back as insurance, and got him into Luke. I did get Luke down to 1 wound, but didn't kill him, but he also didn't kill my tank. So end result was it was a points win for me, 3-3, a really, really tight game. I think if he killed the tank, I would have had to answer back and get Luke. But because I outstretched him with the AAT, he wasn't able to get the Luke, and I was able to get the win on that one. So I win the season series, but I fully anticipate I'll probably see him in a future round down there. So currently I'm winning the season series between myself and Debaticus 2-1. So super, super fun game, super tight. Enjoyed that one thoroughly. So I think that was his last game. And like I said, I have one more to go. So that was my league game. Then I played a practice game against Anthony. I won't go too much into depth on that one, but it was a fun game. Another really weird turn 0. Played Disarray Hostage Exchange, which is I don't like Hostage Exchange, or I should say I don't play it. I try not to, because I also played the same list just to get more reps in with it. And I was playing against Anthony's Super ATST, Iden, the Tax Strikes, the 2 Special Forces, and Inferno. And yeah, it was a bit strange because I had to, again, I dumpstered 1 B1 up in the corner. That time I just put the naked squad up there. I did do the reinforcements again in that one, which was great for me, because one of the things that Anthony was not able to do was deploy his tax strike squads in strong infiltrate positions, because he was both fearful of my response with the reinforcements, as well as Disarray could have been a little bit problematic, because he might have overextended in one area and then had units really, really close, or if he deployed too far one way, his hostage might have been vulnerable. So he chose this to kind of go stock standard deployment, and I think it put him a little bit out of position, but it was still a good game. We played right down to turn 6. He was pressuring me a little bit at the end, but I was able to answer and get the big units off when I needed to. But I was not able to secure both hostages. There was a world where I was almost able to kill, but one of the stormtroopers just did not want to die. And so he had a hostage and I had a hostage in my deployment zone. So I was able to get the victory there. But a good game. I can definitely see the progression by Anthony, having played him several times now. So it's super fun to watch that. So I hope I improve with every game too. But sometimes seeing the improvement in other players is a little easier than seeing your own improvements. So I need to hopefully get to some big events this year and see how I stack up and get crushed. That's okay. Learn from those losses. But yeah, I like getting the practice in, and I appreciate guys getting reps in here in the league. It's super fun, and I appreciate the side games as well. So yeah, and so I'll just answer the one question, and then I'll get on to a few other things here. So in the interest of getting onto the Nova lists and brief conversation with Swoops, and then I want to leave some time for roundtable. I want to leave a bulk of time for roundtable if I can, because I really want to hear what you guys think about. So I'll just kind of go through the Nova list, but if you guys want to come in and chat about any of them with me, that's also cool. So yeah, so what do I think about the 5 PK droids? I'll tell you right now. Initially, I didn't think I liked this list as much. with the AAT. And I know that's weird to hear, but I like the AAT, but I wasn't sure if I was going to like the AAT double Magna, no spider, and see if I had enough offensive output. But the droids really keep that list together. The PK droids, as much as they're great for healing, are almost a massive deterrent for anyone deciding what they want to go into. And if I would say anything, there's been a bunch of indecision in terms of what people want to attack. You want to go on the tank, I'll strong side all the heals on the tank. You want to go on the Magnas, I'll just keep bringing them back. So it's almost like a chasing your own tail type element to that. And if it can stay stacked together, the heals just are so wide. You want to pick off a PK droid from a snipe. I'll bring a PK droid back for free. I might lose a heal, but to net an extra heal back is great. Even if you want to go in on the B1s, if you feel like the activation advantage is there, I'm not afraid with 10 to bring back a droid and just sort of put them on two sides of a piece of terrain. Or establish that heavy cover so you can't easily pick it off, or put one out of line of sight, or there's all kinds of great things that you can do with those PKs. So 5 is a great number, and maybe people might think that's excessive, but I think that how that list is built, there's not really a lot of other places I would spend points. Perhaps maybe a comms relay. But I do like the 5. It works pretty good. So the coordinate pilot on the tank is also a lot more strategically advantageous than I initially thought it might be for the style, but it has a lot of control in there. Kalani's great. I think I can't get over how great Kalani is. He's just a great combination. Very versatile. He's not a commander where you're wasting a lot of, I don't feel like I waste a lot of things with him, just with the strategize and the ability to just sort of just bulk out your units. Having that direct on the table every single round is fantastic, given that you already have great control. So synergistically, I think the list works great. I don't mind the PK droids. 4 is also fine. I thought I was going to miss the spiders more than I did. I think the spiders are still good, but the spiders might be in a little bit of a world of hurt with all those pikes on the table. Those big pools coming back can still get through armor 3. So there is definitely some things out there that can hurt that spider. I don't think the spiders are gone or should be gone away. I think they also might be a great answer to other units that we might see some proliferation of as well. But I think that double Magna 5 PK AAT Kalani list is not bad. I like it. I'm enjoying it anyway. So Frizzle says, I run a lot. I run 4 a lot, and I agree. Makes people really overthink things. So satisfied to restore a PK droid with a PK. Of course it is, for sure. And like I said, using a PK droid to heal a B1 feels like it's undervalued. It's only undervalued if it is comparatively measured against, let's say, like an AAT wound, or if it's measured against like a Magna Heavy or just a Magna in general. However, if it preserves an activation, if it's an extra potential scoring a unit on a victory point a turn, if it's the difference of maintaining a chain, if it's the difference of being able to contest an objective or push an objective, all of those have inherent values. So if you bring back a B1 that does all those things, or any one of those things that leads you down that route to have the victory, well, then it's the most advantageous spending of a PK heal ever. So I think they're all situational, but I don't think that you should ever underestimate the value of bringing pretty much any unit, well, in fact, that list, any model in your army, a back or a wound on your model. So they're so versatile in that list. So yeah, they're great. I think they're fantastic upgrades. So Stan is also calling for a ban of PK droids. Unfortunately, we do not have a personnel slot ban in the league, but perhaps in the future, or Stan will start his own league. I'm not sure. Sorry, let's get into a few other things on the topic of that. We might as well slide over. So round 6 signups are happening right now. So if you're listening to this or listening to it tomorrow or in the future, go check out the Discord. You can sign up right now. Basically, sign up for the league. It's going to get started on the 13th, or I guess 11th is when the lists are due. 13th is when that should say round 6. By the way, just ignore that 5 that's there. But we're going to have the reveal show on the 13th. So I will kick off how many folks we have there. We'll do the pods and spin it and go round 6. For round 6, the vote is actually closed. So you can still sign up for the round. You can submit your list as soon as I reveal the bands here for you as well. Lists are due by the 11th. So if you're hearing this now, both sign up and list due on the 11th. The only restrictions are the following. You cannot have any T-47 airspeeders. You cannot have any ATSTs. You cannot have a Saber tank, and unfortunately, you cannot have an AAT. So that was the bans. It was pretty one-sided. There was a few AA5 votes thrown in there for the Rebels. I think ATST was unanimous across the hop there. I think Saber tank all across. I think maybe one ISP in there. Somebody didn't like the ISP, and then a couple snail votes, but unanimously, all of these came out as the favorites to be banned. So no speeders, no air speeders, should say, no ATSTs, no saber tanks, and no AATs. So you guys can submit your list now. There's a list submission section. You can go in there and do that. I saw that stand that the ISP ban was used. So yeah, so submit your list. You can tag Pally on that or myself. I could actually don't tag me. Tag Pally. I don't get to see the lists. But just because I'm in some points, so after everyone reveals them, then I can have a look at them. Yeah, and sorry, Bernard did give the GABA vote, so I think there was one in there. Bernard, I think he snuck in on the last day. Bernard did, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's how that's going to happen. So again, go join up if you want to. Signups are happening right now, round 6. And even if it's your first round, go ahead and jump in. It's fine. So, Different Justice says, "I love how you tried to vote snails. I just put that in there, my friend. Who knows? I might be playing snails. Maybe I was tricking you. Maybe I was going AAT, knowing that the AAT would be banned just so I can play snails. Who knows? Who knows? I guess you guys will find out when everyone else. So, Dan, yeah, for sure. Dan likes the ISP. He wants to roll that out. So." All right, let's get into a few other things here. Do I need to thank any other people? I think we're going to hit the news here. So let's go over to the news from the streets. As reported by Pally. Well, I mean, Pally currently didn't report that. The only news he reported was he had a broken wing, so that doesn't really count. But nonetheless, get into some of the news here is happening in the Legion sphere. So I was tracking this on the Discord. Seemed to be lots of stuff sharing out. Bushfax was sharing a bunch of updates, which was fantastic. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Coming in from Nova happened this past weekend. I didn't realize Nova occurs over so many days, so that's kind of cool. So Nova Open 2022. I think they had a big crowd. I'm not sure the exact numbers. I think they were anticipating like over 80. I'm not sure the actual number of registrants that played, but I think it was fairly big, and I think it's a good pool of data to pull from. And Nova sounded like it's a pretty good event. I have not had the pleasure of attending myself, but I might try to shoot for that in the future. The only problem is exactly where it falls, and I feel it falls here or in and around here every year. I could be wrong on that, but that is literally the first days of school. So perhaps in the future, if I'm not a teacher or not a principal or somehow school moves, I can probably attend that. So, but otherwise, it's a bit of a difficult one to get to. But it does sound like it's a good time. So we had the event, it played, and some lists came out that were quite interesting. So I just grabbed the top 4 to have a look at. I'm not going to attempt to tell you how good or not good they are. I think the placing tells you that they were played well. And that was I think a good showing for the list. So I think a great list can perform poorly. I think maybe a subpar list, if you identify that, can play great. I think that anyone who knows their list well has an X factor in that, and how well can you manipulate those units to get the advantages out of them. So we're going to have a look at the list based on where they finished. We'll talk briefly about what I think about the list, what I find interesting in there, and then I'll leave the analysis to the roundtable if you have some particular thoughts. So Andrew's saying the 5th Trooper basically cleaned house at Nova, so Bushfax had a lot to report on. I mean, I think he would have reported anyway, but I just think that it was great to share that kind of information out. So yeah, Jake correctly pointing out the best list is the one you practice with. I wholeheartedly agree with that. So let's have a look at the list. And first, congratulations to all of these people, and we'll say in turn. So Kyle Dornbos coming out first place here, playing an Empire list. And I think did I get all the icons right? I might have got one wrong. But looking at this, so yes, Empire list here. Breaking the list down, you guys can see it on the screen, but I'll read it just in case you can't. It's 11 activation, 799. It's got Iden Versio in here. He's got the O push Overwatch. This is obviously the loadout, so whatever he wants to take there. Both of Iden's weapons, no brainer, and then a situational awareness as well. So 121 point Iden. He's got a pike capo, naked. Sorry, not naked. Improvised orders. My bad. We'll see how many pikes come up in these top 4 lists. Boba Fett in there with Hunter and Recon Intel. Naked Shore, Naked Mortar. Probably just some act padding in there as well and filling out the base core slots. Stormtroopers with a T-21 in there. 2 pikes with the Disruptor and the Capo. A lot of people love that Capo Disruptor. I think that's a good combo. I think adding the Capo within the units makes them pretty good. And 80 points is a steal. I mean, Anthony's been running a bunch of pikes here, and hot or cold, I think, is the opinion on them based on how they perform. But I think overall, I'd say lukewarm or better for sure. And at 80 points, I think they'll more often than not perform to their point value. So. And let's have a look here. Inferno Squad in there as well with Delmico and Gideon, so an 88 point unit there. And then 2 strike teams coming in with the snipers. So lots of sort of, I don't think really overly invested in any one unit. So nice point spread here. 11 activations feels like you got some good act padding for both Boba and Iden. And choice of cards here was Whipcord, Pulse Scanner, Concussive Blast, the Flame Projector, Jetpack Rockets, Tactical Strike, and Standing Orders. So basically splitting the difference there between Iden and Boba. No generics in there. So not surprising on the cards per se. Likely ended up as, I don't know what Kyle played, red or blue, but not looking for a big bid here at all. So it'd be interesting to know if he came out blue. I think Evans, a list that we're going to get into next, I think I saw that Bushvac shared that he was primarily blue in most. And I think given, we'll get into his list, but I think he probably wanted to be blue with the list. So yeah, really interesting here. The pike proliferation is real. I only bought 4 units of pikes, and I think I might just buy 2 more just in case down the road I ever want to run 6. And the word on the street is they're good and they become hard to find. But yeah, not surprised. This list has got a lot of tools in it, in my opinion. Light on the core, which again is something we're seeing a little bit more of, I think, or at least I'm seeing a little bit more of, specifically in Empire. But yeah, and Inferno, yeah, I like the choice of Inferno in there. So lots of range. You got Iden with sniper, Delmico with sniper. You got 2 actual snipers in there. Boba can hit, from range, or is fast enough to get to from a range, out there. The pikes, good range there. The mortar. So I don't think this is much surprise. I think I've seen Kyle kind of play from range quite a bit, and I think he probably used it to his advantage clearly. So I like the list. Not my style, like not my play. I'm too fragile with Boba, or I'm just not good with Boba. I don't know if I'm too aggressive at times or not aggressive enough, and that I feel like I'm not getting enough out of Boba. But I do like Iden. I've played Iden some, with some success with Iden as well, just getting some wins. I wouldn't say that I have this kind of success, but certainly like the option there. But a lot of range in this list. Sneaky range for sure. So doesn't have any big heavy hitters, and again, he really spread out the point amongst those units. So I like that option. So congrats to Kyle. Let's have a look at Evan's list. So if you're not tracking, Evan's been doing sneakily good, and I don't say sneakily, I just mean, like, I think he maybe downplays his style, or downplays his ability. And I mean, maybe that's a part of the shtick, but maybe he's just surprising himself every single time. Whatever it is, good on you, Evan. Doing well. Coming in here second place. I like that. And I like the list. I like the list in particular because, we have a podcast to kind of say, and it's not about who's talking about things first or not, but I love that you played Swoop Bikes, and I love that you did something with Swoop Bikes. And I have been, I feel like sort of trumpeting a little bit about the double bus swoop list. And if not on the podcast, clearly in the group chats that we have, I like to get on this list a lot. So, in fact, you inspired the title tonight about a little bit of demoralized. So I hope that suppression really played a factor for you. I would love to hear. Obviously, I'll listen to you on the podcast. But I really hope that you tell a nice tale about how you dump like 57 suppression on somebody. So, but yeah, he's got 2 buses in here loaded. These are officially party buses. He's got Raiding Party Leader, Unorthodox Tactician, the refurbished Gonk, the heavy retrofit laser, and link targeting array on one. On the other, Reckless Driver, Unstable Astromech, refurbished Gonk, and the comms jammer. So likely doing a whole heck of a lot of moving with the second bus and then just jamming in your face and then saying, hey, you don't get to get any tokens out around me. And I think he's probably running the gonks just for the extra protection because it's not really an offensive bus at all. It's mostly a move and drive over you bus. And then the top one, with a bit of the aims handing out, likely that Unorthodox is just getting them onto the Black Suns as quickly as possible. And again, likely the Black Suns running in the buses, which I think is the way to go. So he does it 3 swoops with the emergency transponder. I'll talk a little bit about the swoops later on, but interesting option. And I think there's a bunch of options to put on the swoops. I don't know if emergency transponder is the only one. Maybe he would say differently. Maybe other people have had different. I could see a world where running like 4 comms jammers in a list that's really fast could be really, really impactful. So there's that option as well. Huge bid, by the way. I didn't say that, but 10 activations, 787. So I do appreciate and like seeing that. And I'm going to guess he's pushing for blue. So the Black Suns are in here. He's running 2 different ones. So the way I typically built it, I like redundancy. You guys know that. But this might be a point thing. This might be some sort of tech that I don't really know of, or maybe he's just looking to have multiple options and having tools in the bag. But the Magnet Enforcers, the Vigo, the targeting scopes, and the frag grenades, I like all that. That's my build. I like that right there. The Scattergun, Vigo, targeting scopes is the other one, and I really haven't explored that. I just feel that the gun's a little bit expensive for my liking. I think that you can cut the points, get another unit of grenades, and just have really efficient surging die pools. And do lots of things. I also really like the sonic imploders to go with that suppressive sort of vibe of this list. So you can do that too. But I do think the frag grenades for the surge conversion is really, really good. So I'll just a small aside. Jake saying Evan is a great guy. I met him at Adepticon. He played the Vader Lat. He loves taking something that no one likes and placing it. And I don't think. I mean, yes, I'm aware of that, but I don't think this is a list that no one will play, and I don't think this is a list that people won't like. And I know there was some conversation around like the meme of the list, but like I when I was designing this list and talking with people, I don't think it was with the vibe of having it as a meme list. I think it's actually just a mean list, if I can to play on words there. So, yeah. So again, I run the Black Sun Enforcers. I theorized, I should say. I'm waiting till this one is painted to put on the table because I don't want Bernard to yell at me. But that is going to be my option there. So, yeah, no, for sure. I get it, Justice. Yeah, that Pierce is good. I just think you can also make things die by having really effective attack pools and forcing a lot of saves. So, and then he's got the 2 pikes in there. Surprise, surprise. Naked. And then he's running the capo with improvised orders. So people liking that improvised orders and sneaking those pikes in for really, really cheap activations. So 10 activations, I like that number. I think it's a great sweet spot here. He's got some redundancy in here. He's got some speed in here, and he's got some heavy hitters for sure. And not only that, but you have a lot of action mitigation potential in this list in the form of the amount of suppression and even the comms jammers in there, potentially taking away that activation order or control. So it's a great list. I like it. Well, kudos to you for constructing the list and even more for playing it with the great success he did. So super. All right, let's have a look at the third one. Richard, I think it's Lavery. If I'm saying that wrong, my apologies. This one if you just look at this one and then you just look at this one, it just seems like this is like a skirmish list, but it's only because there's a lot of redundancy here. So awesome that we see Blizzard Force doing well at a big event. I think this is, yeah, I think we knew Blizzard Force was going to be a competitive battle force, at least the most competitive of the battle forces. Asterisks on that. I'm not an expert in Legion, so you can quote or unquote that. It doesn't matter. But I think Blizzard Force has great potential. We've played Blizzard Force here. I've played Blizzard Force. It's just nasty. So Veer's in here with commanding presence, strict orders, and electro binoculars. Why not have spotter? It's just fantastic. The extra spotter, I should say. He's got 2 snows in here with flamers, recon intel, and sonic imploders. Awesome. I do love to see that grenade in there. And then why not, just for funsies, let's take 2 more flamers with sonic imploders, just dropping the recon intel on that. 4 flamer snows with a grenade is fantastic and something that I haven't seen for a long time. But Blizzard Force makes this so viable again. Just for funsies, let's throw in 2 of the stormtroopers with the double heavy. Those heavy response teams, insane. And at 74 points, absolutely a steal. Pikes are good at 80, but this squad is better at 74. I like it slightly better at 74. I know that it doesn't have the dodge potential, but red dice saves are pretty good. And then that hard hitting range 4 is pretty fantastic. So, and particular because it gives a little bit this list a bit more range punch. And then again, just for funsies, let's throw in 4 bikes. So if you want to be in your face, you can with this list for sure. But I think that the in your face potential of this list comes in the timing that you can do. You have a lot of control. Okay, I'm going to take a drink here just so I can pretend like I'm not choking on what Pally just typed in chat. And you can read that comment. In fact, here you go. So I like this one because I think it has a lot of timing potential in when it can bring its sort of assault potential to bear. So obviously you have to kind of set up your snows. They're a little bit more methodical. They don't have the plotting keyword, but you know what I mean. They plot across the table, and with that steady keyword triggering, they can do a lot of damage. It's a little bit delayed, and it takes a little bit of time to get there in some deployments. Some deployments a bit easier. But with the speed of the bikes and the compulsory move on the bikes and you know the internal cover or native cover that they have, you can sort of spin around it and bide your time a little bit. You can poke and prod and probably threaten a flank before you bring in the weight of your weapons. So I think that this list, again, I didn't see it played. I'm just speculating here, but I bet you that Richard is quite good at timing when he springs this this big flame wall in your face. And I would say probably without a doubt, he probably brings it with excellent timing of the bikes, likely hitting from sort of probably bringing a frontward assault of the flame and probably bringing a flank with the bike. So I'd be surprised if he didn't, but of course he played it with greater success than me. But that is definitely, if I was envisioning how this list comes at me, how I would prepare as a defender, I'd be looking for that for sure. A frontal assault followed by some sort of flank for sure. But yeah, very scary, very, very scary list. Also a 7-point bid, probably pressing for blue more times than not. And I don't think he's found wanting. It's not like he's cutting out things to put in this list to get to that 7-point bid and still sitting at 11 acts, which is exceptionally scary. So, all right, last one up. I only did the top 4. Of course, congratulations to all the top 8 folks. And if we like breaking down lists, I can certainly break down some more later. But like I said, go check out Fifth Trooper. They broke down all the lists anyway. And there's a great write-up. You can go read about that. So Mike Berry, good that I haven't really heard from Mike in the sense that he's not podcasting currently, or maybe he is, and I just haven't seen or heard any content. But good to see that he's still in Legion, so that's good. And great to see that he's performed very well at the event. So. And again, with a couple Empire, a Shadow Collective, and Gar coming in here, sad CIS. I'm not sure how far down CIS was, but sad face for CIS, and maybe that was a case of just not bringing the right tools, or maybe people really teching hard against the droids, or maybe just the droids didn't roll those white saves to get into the top. But nonetheless, Good showing by all the factions. No rebels to be noted either, but again, if they did well in other games and just missed a cut, so be it. So, but let's have a look at this one here. It's a Gar list, not to be confused with the Pike Capo being right at the top. So again, I think that's Pikes. If you're keeping track at home, is that Pikes in list one? Pikes in list two, Pikes not in list three, and Pikes in list four. Yeah. So I don't disagree with you, Pally. I think that the Pike spam with both the dodge defense and big pools are going to be a little bit tough and hard on B1s. And so trimming the fat out of the B1s, really makes those, even if you can't kill those heavy hitters, I think it really just makes winning objectives a little bit difficult. So I could be wrong, but yeah, there's that. So according to LJ, CIS was in the 8th spot, but had to drop last minute. Okay, fair enough. Well, that's good intel. Thanks for that, Frizzle. So curious to see what that list is. I could probably go back. I should have just gone back and had a look at that. I will do that. I'll do my additional research later. Um, yeah, having a look at this, we got the capo at the top. We got Anakin Skywalker in there with the saber throw, the force push, the up close and personal, and the Overwatch. Padme with vigilance. Two Pikes in there with the disruptors. No capos in this one, most notably, but likely a point. So Gar a little more expensive. And then you have two phase ones with the Z6 and one RPS. You got to have that RPS in there if you have Anakin, because that saber throw fire support is awesome. And then he has two arc strike teams in there. So again, talent activation is pretty good for Gar, specifically because you have an Anakin and a Padme in there, which is nice. But I think the Pikes really help Gar get there, and doing it with a 9-point bid is exceptional as well. So, and I mean, Mike's no stranger to playing clones, for sure. He's had a lot of success in and playing them in many iterations. He does like the arcs for sure. And so not surprised that he was quite successful. I think this has a lot of the bones that he likely has played before, and maybe he'll tell you that the Pikes just make the list even better. But yeah, I've seen a lot of Anakin Padme lately, a lot of it. So, and I think we're probably going to be seeing Pikes, sprinkle through a lot of those Gar lists here in the future. So, the CIS list was a double tank. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I appreciate that. And I think the double tank is still a good call right now. And if he finished 8th, and like I'm not sure if the top 8 played down or what have you, but I do think that the double AAT is a good call right now. The high velocity, like I said, somebody was asking like what list or what unit do you like and why? I'll tell you right now, HE shells. You got high velocity on the tank. And then you have the just a big gun that barrages. So that has a lot of things going for it, particularly because you can get heals in there and keep that alive. But double AAT eats a lot of things. Basically anything with dodge tokens or wants to dodge. It's a beast for sure. So it's a good call right now. I think we're going to see it come back. But I like that's Legion, guys. It ebbs and flows, right? Pikes come in, AAT comes back. It's looking good. Spiders are in. Spiders are making the buses go away, keeping vehicles honest. Pikes come in and say, hey, look at our dice pools. Or Black Suns come in and be like, hey, we're gonna pop out and just like hit you and smack you and kill you, spider. Spiders go away. Now the buses can pop back out because there's less ion. Okay, well, what comes in the buses? Things that like dodge tokens. Great, let's bring back out the things that don't care about dodge tokens. So it's just like it's an arms race. We like it. That's why we like this game so much. So, yeah, so really fun. I think Nova had a really good showing with lots of cool lists. I like that. I don't think anyone's surprised to see so many Pikes. Let's just give it a few events. I think we're going to see more Pikes. We might hit a critical mass of that, and we might have like the Pikes are too good. Let's trim this, trim that, change this, blah blah blah. We've had that lots of times in Legion, but I think there's lots of things to answer to Pikes, and I think just Pikes spicing up different factions and bringing back other units and the battle forces. Maybe they'll make a showing here. Particularly Blizzard Force seems to be finding its way into some success. So I think there's lots of great options. Legion seems like it's in a good spot right now, and it just seems like we're not complaining about as many things in Legion right now. I mean, a lot of people complain about spiders and magnets and all those things, but I mean, I don't see any spiders or Magnus in the top 4. So clearly people have either found a way around it, or that was just, the flavor of the week, and we can complain about other things. So we'll see how many people are complaining about pikes. I think that argument, though, kind of goes a little bit away because everyone is running pikes. Apparently so. We'll see if it becomes a big deal. You guys can tell me how wrong I am a little bit later on. So, all right, look at that. I'm already at an hour of me prattling on. So let me hit a couple sponsors. Let me talk a little bit about the Swoop bike, and then you know what? In fact, I will save the Swoop bike if somebody wants to kind of pick that topic in roundtable. If wants to talk a little bit about Swoop, I have a screen for it, but if nobody does, I'll use that as filler. And we'll get going with roundtable because I said I would save some time. So, all right, here we go. Oops, I hit the wrong button. There we go. I want to thank Back to Basics. By the way, if you guys don't know, I think Aaron, well, we'll see if Aaron will come into our roundtable. But for the wall that's happening in the studio right now, Aaron has finished cutting all the glass and the logos or the writing for the wall. So I can't wait to get it so you guys can see it. That'll really kind of be the last capping piece. And then, believe it or not, if you guys have been following the wall, I have to take the whole wall down again because I haven't weathered the wall. People think the wall is finished. It's not actually finished. I did all the building. I did all the base painting. I'm working on all the added bits. I need to put the added bits in place so that I can weather those. And then around all the elements, I need to weather all of that. So the wall is going to look great. I'm really stoked about that. Believe it or not, let me just jump back here for a second. Let me hit the rest of these sponsors here. I'm getting on about this, but anyways, go check out Aaron for sure. A ton of cool stuff, and I want to do some Friday Night Fight racks, by the way. So I might pick his brain when he's in there, and I may try to squeeze him on something. So we'll check that out in a second. Also, go give Dice Time a listen, guys. Ben and Paul over at the Dice Time affiliated podcast. We got some shows up on the YouTube channel. I haven't seen the latest episodes, so I don't know if they're in the queue or we haven't got them, but listen to the back ones, but then pressure there with your comments in their videos to get those new episodes up and running. Also want to thank Gamers Grass for helping us out here in studio. They do help me out a lot at the train side, and look for a bunch of Gamers Grass being used in an upcoming Patreon project, but customer project. And then lastly, let's have a shout out for Phoenix Games in Australia. We haven't seen Bryant either. Thumbs up if you guys missed Bryant. He has been busy running the league over there, but I need Bryant out here to get some news from the future and that Australian accent, which is awesome. So Donnie checking in as well. All right, let me jump back here really quickly. What was I going to share with you guys? Oh yeah, just talking a little bit about the wall. So funny story about that. You guys see the wall behind me. So my wife barely ever comes down in the studio side. She does the laundry here in the basement and does her work on the other side, but seldom comes into the studio side. But yesterday I was down and I was just showing her some stuff on the wall and sort of was pointing out like kind of like, well, what are you going to do with like this one? Like this one's not finished. But what I explained to her is that this one is quite plain. It's sort of designed to be plain. But what I got from both the eye roll and sort of the tone was this wall is now crap in comparison to this one. So I might have to build something different back here. So based on that soft criticism alone, which wasn't a criticism at all, I might have to do something with this because apparently this is too plain. So look for that. So I might be changing this. I don't know. I can't deal with the criticism in my own house. So yeah, look for that. So maybe a new studio project. So there is that. So let me jump over here quickly to roundtable. Let me set the tone for the topics here tonight. Is this the one? Yeah, here it is. All right. So topics for tonight. That list. So wife wins. You are correct, Stan. You are correct. So that list is anything that you want to come in and tell me, listen, this is the list. Or you play it again and you're like, that list. And however you want to frame that. So whether it's good or bad, that list. Besides playing, I want to hear what people are interested in Legion. What keeps you in? When you're not playing the game, how do you stay connected? And if you get to play every day, great. Good on you. For me, I don't get to play every day. I wish I could play every day. But there's so many things in this game. that keep me tied in. So I'd love to hear from people about that. Apply within. Here's the thing. I think we need more people in Friday night fights doing this. So if you have any interest, and here's the thing, we just be very clear, we have no payroll. You get paid in perks. You get paid in anything that we can sort of shift your way, whether it's discounts or we have a lot of connections. That's basically, we are a relationship built podcast for sure. But if you want to contribute in any way, and I just mean like you got something that you do that we can help you promote, or you want to, come on and cast and got some ideas and want to get more involved rather than just sort of hanging out on the sidelines, we want to hear from people. Like this is definitely a community driven platform for sure. So anytime we can get more people involved, the better. So if you have any interest in that, you hit me up. The guys hanging out in chat, I know you guys do a lot for us. Just being here, supporting all that great stuff. So you can continue doing that. But if you got something else you think the Legion world needs to share, and you don't maybe have the means, or maybe you don't have a platform to share, maybe you got a great idea that you just haven't got off the wall, this might be the catalyst. So hit us up in the Discords. If you guys want to help out in any way, share something, come on, help us out, help yourself, apply within. That's that. And then swoops, my bad. They might be good. Talking a little bit about the Swoop bikes. I don't think they have ever been bad. I think that they are good. I think they could have been maybe ridiculously fantastic with the not original base, photoed original base. But I think a one tournament does not make a unit great. But I think that performance by a unit probably indicates that maybe perhaps they're better than first blush. And I think there's lots of potential for the Swoop bikes to do a lot of things. And if you want to get in that conversation, I can bring up a screen and I can help sort of frame that conversation. So roundtable is now open in session. It is hour 6 in. So let's rip this for about 20, 25 minutes. And if nobody comes in, we'll end the show early, but I think there's enough topics to get some things here. All right. It is in the chat. Welcome callers. I won't even put you on a timer tonight. I'll just leave you on here if you want to hang out. But if we get full table, I might boot some people if I got other people calling in. So it is on there. So topics for tonight, that list, besides playing, apply within and swoops, my bad, might be good. So we'll leave that open. I'll take a quick sip here as I await some callers. And if I have no callers, I'll just riff for a bit and say goodnight. But of course we have a caller. Here we go. All right, Andrew's in. Just a second, Andrew. I've just got to assign you and do some things here and put you on the screen, and then you get to do whatever you like on there for the topics. All right, Andrew is in. Not a first-time caller, not a first-time listener, so he's just a regular at this point. All right, rip it, Andrew.
Cool. So, yeah, I'll go off what you said asked about how to stay connected. Definitely the abundance of. First off, can you hear me?
Gotcha. You're Roger. Yep.
All right, great.
Yep.
Yeah. So definitely the abundance of podcasts and just Legion content overall. I see like a lot of people jumping on the battle report bandwagon. So I feel like every week there's a new group of people looking to share their battle report experiences with the community. And obviously the podcast between what goes on here at the Terrain Studio, Fifth Trooper, and all the others. And that's definitely how I stay connected between games for me.
Right, and you like that content, eh? I think there's such a diversification of people and opinions. You know, the spin they take, the approach they take. That's why I like to consume other content, even though we might talk about the exact same thing. It's not the same thing.
Right, yeah, like you said. Different spins or different emphasis on certain topics. Yeah, definitely. As far as if I can go into my weekend Legion, I had an opportunity to play a game with my cousin in Pennsylvania this weekend. She played her first 800-point game. She wanted to get into CIS, and so I told her, tell me what you want to play. And she was like, I want to play Dooku B2s. So I made her the whole list. I ran my ISF, and I played it toned back as it was her first game. So I was like, like, oh, I can infiltrate. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna infiltrate. I'll be nice. First game, I'm not gonna infiltrate. But yeah, it was a fun game. Both of us had a great time doing it. Uh, and being the nice cousin I am, I kind of coached her to the victory at the end.
Gotcha. I mean, that's a classic. I feel like every time I teach somebody Legion, whether I wanted them to win or not, they seem to always win. You seem to always be better at giving people advice how to beat you than you are at giving yourself advice to win. So
That,
there's that element. So
that's my lot in life. I
yep.
I I, yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, in fairness, maybe they play another game. If he got whipped by infiltrate, maybe they might just think the game's a little bit crazy. I think I've told this story before, but that's how I got introduced to War Machine. Bought an army. They wanted to play some War Machine. Got my stuff out. Brought it out. I was unfamiliar with caster kills, auto. You lose the game. Did a couple things, just basically learning the things, penciling in the little damage, blah blah blah. Next thing you know, bing bang boom, I lost because my caster died, and yeah, that's the last time I ever played War Machine. So
Oh,
great way to introduce somebody to the game is to ease in. Yeah. So yeah, fair enough. We got Pally in here. You can hang out, Andrew. That's fine. I'm gonna
sure.
keep popping in the thing here. We can fill up the cast here if people want. But Pally, first off, let's see the broken wing. What do you got? What do you got going on?
It's not broken. It's
Oh,
just busted.
I mean,
Tendons
isn't
are
broken and
absolutely
busted the same thing?
kind of tendons in the shoulder and hand are absolutely shot, and I've got like stress fractures in my arm. It's cool.
Okay,
Whatever.
so you
It's like
currently
it's
aren't
like shin
working.
splints in my arm.
Okay,
No, I, I
you're not working.
no, I made it like a week, and I was like, maybe this isn't for me.
Fair.
So
Okay, fair enough. All right. Um, oh, geez, we got all kinds of callers in here. Hey, Andrew, can I cycle you out first, and then you can call right back in? I'm just gonna put in the new caller. Is that cool?
Sure.
All right. Yeah, but stay close. All right, let me add some folks here. I got to answer Ronan. All right, I'm gonna continue, Pally. Pick your topic. What's your poison here tonight?
But yeah, so it looks like my Tuesdays will probably still be busy. I'm just here in the interim, but Fridays I will have. Absolutely. So if you need a regular cast member for Fridays, hello,
Oh, perfect. All right.
right?
Yeah, most
Um,
most excellent.
the other thing I've been wanting to do for a while, and I haven't got around to it, but since I'm back to having some free time, is I've been wanting to do a series of news guides. And I'd pitched this a while ago as a written form, but I hate writing. So I wanted to gauge the water on maybe like minute or 2 minute shorts, a unit at a time,
Okay.
just like quick breakdowns. And if anybody's ever seen SpongeBob, kid friendly, but not kid friendly.
Okay. Okay.
If you know, you know.
I
So
did I did not anticipate when I wrote these discussion topics that the words SpongeBob would have been uttered in any of the callers, but fair enough.
it is the best example I can think of something that is a kids show and
Yep.
has more adult humor than I've seen in anything outside of like South Park.
Right. No, I can appreciate that. I'm not a SpongeBob connoisseur, so I don't
Yeah.
draw the frame of reference, but I know who SpongeBob is. So currently, my consumption of children's things entails and ends at Blippy. So if anybody is familiar with Blippy, also did not anticipate uttering that name when I wrote the discussion topics, but yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So yeah,
But
that would
that,
be.
like I said, I just gauge the water on it if that's something people would be interested in consuming. Just quick little noobs guides on how to run units and what they do, how to kit them out, and that sort of thing.
I think people appreciate any sort of again, we appreciate that people come in this game from all angles and at all levels. So what we define as maybe noob or not new information could be brand new and eye opening for someone else. So for sure. So um, now we're getting great facts from Fizzle around SpongeBob. So originally pitched to be an Adult Swim as an adult comedy. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at all the facts we have.
Yeah.
All right. Well, stay in here, Pally. But we got Jake in and Frank's in here. What do you guys got for us? Jake, you were in first, so we'll give you first dibs
Uh,
here. So what do you got?
Yeah, so this Friday, I mean, my wife has me doing something, so I can't go to my LGS, so I'm more than willing to help this Friday
Okay,
with
awesome.
the cats.
Okay.
I did it did it one time with Bryant and I can't remember who else. But I mean, it was great. I'm more than willing to do it again. But
Sure. If we do go Friday, I gotta check with the guys because, like I said, Jace is away, and might be later. It would be a later cast, but we'll see. I'll keep everybody apprised. But what I'm
yeah,
thinking about doing is I want to run a roster because I would like to. If people want to jump on, I want people to get that in their calendars a bit earlier, so then I can sort of schedule people and then people can jump in and sort of be planned and the more we have laid out in ahead of time, the little less we have logistics wise to sort out late. But I do greatly appreciate that tossing your hat in the ring on
yeah.
that.
Throw
So,
me on that.
yep, thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem doing that. But
Sure.
Swoop Bikes.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm currently brewing a 8 activation, 5 vehicles with mall list,
yeah, yeah. I like it.
where you infiltrate mall into their deployment zone and throw everything at them.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
that demoralize. What are you thinking about running on swoop bikes for the com slot? Anything or
I so for the points because the mall's in there, I don't have anything on there.
right? Which
So
is
I'm
okay
sitting there
too.
at
Which is okay.
787.
Yep.
I played so in the local store meta, there's a lot of Empire
Okay.
and a lot of Vader. So comms jammers for us don't do much.
Hmm.
So I tend to actually leave that comms slot open just because for me where I'm at, it just is a waste of 15 points if I throw it on all three. But I did run the double bus triple swoops with all five with comms jammers. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it can cause some issues.
It can cause some issues, said everyone.
I mean,
Yeah,
I was
no.
playing against the Vader Blizzard Force, so there was a couple times that he was like, "Oh, I can't issue any orders other than that one."
Hmm.
Well, that sucks. That's stupid.
Yep. I mean, when you
But
when you could shut down like the new ways to motivate, when that's a play right there, right?
oh yeah, yeah, that's huge. Yeah, he was running the Vader triple or quad bikes
Oh,
when I
okay.
ran that. So I ended up with bombing run with that.
Hmm. Buses
But yeah,
buses like
I
that
mean, I think they have a lot of potential.
for sure.
I'm just yeah, especially with the list size, just tweaking them. But
I like it. All right, well, stick around for a sec, Jake. We're gonna give Frank a couple of rips here on the topic. So, what do you got for us, Frank?
I've got a couple words for you guys. It's called self-regulation.
Okay.
Okay,
I,
nobody wants
I,
to see a double A5 and a triple speeder bike across the table from them.
Okay.
Self-regulation, guys. We don't need to be playing these lists to make everything unfun and boring for the rest.
But
Totally joking, but a
I mean,
little bit joking.
I'm trying to
I,
trigger the demoralize keyword in the human that I'm playing against as well. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, no, the swoop bikes seem good. I'm not a vehicle person, but no, they seem good. That list seems really good. Really annoying, but good.
Right.
I totally get the gimmick behind it, and I can't say that I haven't used gimmicks in the past through different units anyway, so I can't hark on people too much. But no, they're good. I mean, what keeps me in the game, honestly, is the fact that it's Star Wars, which is probably big for the rest of us. But
Yep.
I think this is probably I play way too many games, but this is probably the best community that of any games that I play. So it's been real great. But these swoop bikes make me change my mind if everybody keeps playing them. So.
Well, so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. So if swoop bikes are going to come out and they're going to kind of be a thorn, do you have the same feeling about the proliferation of pikes in every faction? Because we're not going to see swoops in every faction, but what about pikes?
The only reason why I think swoop bikes are annoying is the play style of Swoop Bikes. So the running into your lines and having to I can't think of the term now, but scatter basically, and dealing with all that and the time that it takes to slow that game down is really what I have a problem with Swoop Bikes. But um, no, I mean, Pike's a little different. They're a core unit and they're really good, but they're not that good. You know, they're not like unbeatable. There's clear ways you can defeat them. But
Yeah.
yeah,
The
they're gonna
pike.
get annoying too to see. But yeah,
the dodge proliferation is thoroughly annoying. So honestly, I think one of the great things about the AA5 and Swoop Bikes and sort of the combination thereof in terms of the displacement, the suppression ability to put that out, the buses running over people, is actually that action potential that you are denying your opponent. I
yeah,
I think that is really critical. Good units are generally better when they take their actions that are the most effective action for that unit to take. When you
yeah,
are doing things that just take away their potential to do the actions that are critical to their success, that is awesome. It does not rely on dice per se, defense dice, I should say, to do
yeah.
that either. It does rely on obviously rally dice, but the rally dice are the worst dice in the game. And so if your opponent, rolls off that 4 suppression that they needed to on their white dice, you got to give that to them for sure. But it's
If
not
you're if
like
you're
you're
using
yeah.
if you're using your rally step to get back into the game, you're already on your back foot.
That's what I'm saying. So that's on them to do that and get back in.
Yeah,
But it's not like you're relying on, oh, I hope they pull that 50-50 save, or I hope they roll under on these red dice, or
yeah.
finally chew through these 4 dodge tokens and that 5 damage that I put, they're only rolling 1, and I hope that, oh, they didn't, I didn't do any damage off that. That is not the suppression game. The swoops, those AA5s that demoralize, that plays an entirely different game, and I like that because that hasn't been a game that we've played really a lot. A few command cards, a few units on a turn or two may play a game similar to that. Obviously, Master of Evil is kind of that play, that global effect of suppression, and we've all probably been on the receiving end of that Master of Evil, and it causing us to either play differently that turn or not getting the efficiency out of our army that we wanted to that turn. But just imagine that repetitively in your face, and not only that, it does damage too.
Yeah.
So that's why I think this list has great potential. So I
Yeah,
think it's going to take some practice though to make it that.
I'm just waiting for the date of auto wounds. So that's coming
October, my
soon.
friend, October.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be complaining about auto wounds. So
That day
yeah,
is here. So
it's coming. It
yeah,
sure is.
yeah, for sure. Well,
Have we gone over yet how auto wounds can hit things inside of close transports?
no, we haven't.
Yeah,
But yeah, but
that's bloody annoying.
well,
But yeah,
Here's the thing. Evan's list had the gonk droids in the version that I have been crafting, and I'm not sure if you guys are like me, but I don't like to. I don't save my lists in the list builders. I like to go back repetitively and build the same list over and over and over to see if it settles out for me at the same
that's fun.
place. That's how I like to do it. And I'll tell you, when I'm building those AA5s right now, that backworld medic for me is my first drop in there. I think that
Yeah,
backworld medic is great
yeah,
in there for bringing back whatever you need to bring back. So I see your wounds inside the bus, Pally. But I think the backworld medic is going to be a good choice. So interesting to see and talk to people maybe as we get more players in that, as if the gonk versus the backworld medic is the better go around. So I'm prepared to be wrong on it, but for me, that's what I'm including. So yeah. Justice coming in here with some hot information here. AMG said they will show off Din's spear and command cards next week. Is that on the website or? Oh, this is in an article. Okay. Anybody seen that website yet?
no.
Okay, we are due for that website though. I meant that in with minimal sarcasm, but it
Uh,
was
uh,
it was August, was it not? Was that the initial?
last I heard was soon TM.
Soon. Sorry, what?
Soon TM.
Okay.
An
Maybe.
eventual point between now and the heat death of the universe.
Okay. Gotcha.
So
All right.
Yeah.
I will be around for that timeline. So, yeah, for sure.
It'll be dumb to give it a hard day because they never do it. So
Excellent. All right, I'm going to throw that link back out, but you guys can hang out until I
So-
need to boot any people. Pal,
Yeah.
you're next up on the boot list, by the way. It's just to say, and as I say that, look who just joins our chat. So I'm actually not booting you for him though. Only if I get 2 callers in. So,
I assume it's Ryan.
When you're talking about Master of Evil, in that suppression game, I actually had somebody on Saturday throw that out and hit Cad Bane with it.
Oh, and you just said, "Here, take it right back."
While Cad Bane was in melee with 2 of his stormtroopers.
Okay.
Yeah, I was able to play I'm in control and go get the bounty off the Imperial officer immediately.
Mm-hmm. Now, let me ask you this: was your opponent aware of that play, or did you educate them with CAD there?
After he played it, I was like, "Oh, thank you for that suppression. I needed that suppression. I've been wanting that."
Right.
Yeah, because I was actually going to play Annihilation Looms,
Right.
like turn 3 or 4, just to get out and grab that bounty.
Okay.
But no, he played Master of Evil. I was like, okay, cool.
Nice.
Thanks for the survivability.
Nice. No hot takes from Ryan this week because he's on a bus back from a volleyball game. Is that an AA5 that you're on, or is that just like some sort of regular bus? So, yeah, fair enough. We won't be demoralized by Ryan's hot takes this week. So, yeah,
that's fine.
That's good. So, awesome. All right. Well, what else do you guys got to share with you? Anybody got that list? Has anybody run into that list lately that's really, really awesome or that they hate to face? For me, I just have been tired of facing Anakin lately. So, particularly, I don't really care about Anakin most times, but I don't like facing Anakin with the AA5 and the RPS on the other side. I have not died to it, but I do have to play cagey around it. So that's the list that I have run into a few times. So, and next round,
I'm
no
actually okay with seeing.
Go ahead, Frank.
I'm actually okay with seeing Anakin. I think he needs some love. So,
I mean, Dash has warmed up to him and took him to 4th place, so that's good to see.
I was happy to see that.
Yeah.
And
Pally, do you play Anakin at all when you play any Gar, or have you played him at all?
I have an Anakin lat list that I absolutely adore. It's I don't know if it's like competitive or good. I don't run it as well as I run Rex, but it's fun. So getting Anakin in either round 1 or top of round 2 and just going crazy with him is the best.
Nice. Who we got calling in here? Oh, hey, Pally, can I give you a boot for Andrew here? All right, I'm just going in the order of operation here. Awesome. Here we go. Boop, and then Andrew Radnan. Remove it, Andrew Andrew jumped back in. He's bumping Pally out. Let me add Andrew to. Oh, Andrew's in. Hey, there you're back, Andrew. Go ahead. Guess something else for us. Another hot take.
Yeah. So go back on the Swoop conversation. Do you guys see it being used anywhere outside of Shadow Collective, or is that its solo home?
What do you got, Frank?
I mean, you're limited. You can't. I don't believe you can take 3, which is a little bit of an issue. I think there's other factors for sure. Gar, I think can Gar take them?
Yeah, it's Gar and Rebels.
Yeah, I think Gar actually has a little bit of a interesting feat for him, but the fact that you can only take 2 is a little rough. But Rebels for sure, Gar maybe, but I think they're good no matter what faction you put them in, depending on how you play your list.
I think the Barks just fill the role better for Gar, which is maybe going to be another knock on Swoop. So I think we'll probably see them cut their teeth in the Shadow Collective for sure. Maybe try to find their way into the other factions, but maybe are found a little wanting. in those other factions, which is a sad thing, because it's interesting to see how a unit that base value doesn't change in its effectiveness, but what you buffer around it and what faction it's in does have a large determination on how impactful it is.
Right. Because the raiding party leader, that's only Shadow Collective, right? That's only right. Yeah. So if you're gonna play it in Rebels, along with buses, you'd have to find like a different gimmick around it. So I don't believe that the Rebels have a demoralized field commander or pilot.
Not to my knowledge, no.
No, but you can play a different game.
Oh,
Yeah,
totally.
true.
Yeah, you could play an entirely different game for sure. I think that suppression demoralized game is definitely going to be honed and perfected by that Shadow Collective. But yeah, you can play them all kinds of different ways, So I think Blizzard Force plays bikes a little bit different than the traditional triple bike Veers list. I think that how you play an AAT in a Magna Guard Spider list is different than how you're going to play double AAT. Like I just think that how you build a list, I don't think you can insert any one unit and play it the same way every time. And maybe you could play it majority of the same way every time, but I think that what goes around everything in your army determines largely how it plays for sure. So
And also, question: does Fluttercraft hold the same spot as Swoops in list building?
they are both supports.
Because that'd been fun to have a massive overrun list.
Fun if you didn't have to displace 300 units a game.
Self-regulation.
It would be no different than the double bus, triple bike list in Shadow Collective.
It wouldn't be but the overruns, and then the large bases, and if you've ever moved Fluttercraft around, be prepared to like bump into 100 things. Don't wear long sleeves if you pilot Fluttercraft. Definitely don't have buttons on your sleeves either, because that's just an accident waiting to happen for sure. In fact, just get somebody to move your flutters for you. It's way easier that way. So just a proxy flutter pilot is, it's like surgery. Watching Michael trying to move them around was difficult enough. So, and he knows what he's doing. So for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well, why don't we'll end off maybe around there. If nobody's got any more burning stuff, I'll go around the horn. You guys can give any final thoughts. Frank, be prepared to receive a box here at some point. Oh, by the way, I still did not get my rental car this morning, so I have to get it tomorrow because they don't apparently stay open the advertised hours. Yeah. So there's that. But I will mail that as soon as I can get a vehicle to get to the post office. So yeah, that's fun. Warranty work is fantastic. I'm really appreciating having no car right this very moment. So yeah, let's go around. Andrew, what do you got for us? What are you going to leave us with? Some pearls of wisdom.
Definitely it's a more exciting season for Legion. Looking forward to as a primary Rebel Empire player. I'm looking forward to the IG droids. Looking forward to Din. Definitely looking forward to Boba whenever he comes out for sure.
Awesome. Mortal wounds. And don't forget, always infiltrate on a brand new player. They appreciate that. Frank, what else you got?
I'm actually with him. I'm actually really excited about playing Mando and Boba together. So I know there's other options that people like better, but I've kind of been playing around since they pretty much spoiled a lot of it. I've been doing some proxy games and stuff with it, and it's been a lot of fun. And not only fun, but it sucks to face two units that can just kind of hop in your lines and give auto wounds, flamethrowers, and all this stuff. So it's brutal and fun, and I got to play with the new stuff too. And I'm just stoked about Boba, but I like Mando and Boba together. They're really good. So far.
Awesome. Fun and sucks at the same time is often how I describe all my Legion games. Actually, that was fun, but it sucked. So yeah, no, that's a good descriptor. All right, Jake, what do you got for us?
I'm taking Sabine and Din actually to Invader League this season, so that'll be fun.
Okay, appreciate that. Hopefully you keep them out of the league. That would be fun. Thank you. Appreciate that. Justice was previewing down here. Spoiler alert: he's bringing Anakin to round 6. So, spoiler alert: I won't be bringing an AAT. So I fear Anakin less. I mean, at least from that front. But I'm undecided on what I'm bringing to round 6. But maybe I'll bring snails. Maybe I won't. Probably bring in CIS. Just saying. I don't know if Shadow Collective is in the regular mod yet, so we might get through this whole season without it, which wouldn't be bad in fairness because it hasn't been in, and then we could start the next season fresh with it in. So I'm looking forward to round 6. I got one more game to go, and so I'm preparing for that, and I'm looking forward to finishing this wall and apparently starting this one again. So there's that. So and I'm looking forward to Frank painting some models for me. So I can just have more painted models and not ever have to have picked up a paintbrush. So there's that. All right.
And get Bernard off your back.
What's that? Get to Bernard?
And get Bernard off your back.
I know. Jeez, I'm getting tired of carrying this guy. He's always on us. So no, it rightly so. He wants to see good painted models in good games on fun tables. So I mean, I don't fault him 1 second for that. So, oh, by the way, newsflash just in: Pally is signed up for round 6. Welcome back. So hopefully Pally can entice a few more people to get that sign up. So remember, by September 11th, get in there, sign up. We'll get people. Frank's, it gives you a thumbs down. So there's that. But that's where it is. That's exciting and sucking at the same time in Legion. So it's good that you're in, and Frank says it sucks. So I rest my case on that. So all right, folks, we'll take you out. Thanks a lot, guys, for jumping in on the round table. Go check us out.
Yeah.
Possibly Friday.
Thanks.
If there's a change to that, I'll let you guys
Thanks,
know.
Sean.
Yeah, you bet, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming
let
in.
me know.
All right, later, guys. Have a good night.
Okay. Later.
Cheers.